Well, you guys, for those of you who have been living under a rock or you just simply have a life, Brokeback Ben had a really rough day last Friday. Iconic nickname, by the way, coming from JD. It's just hilarious, and you'll see why in just a second. But I guess you could say bend over, got bent all the way over, pounded from all ends just the way he likes it, because not only was he exposed by John Bravo for being broke, like we all assumed for so long, but he actually had documented proof.
And this is where it gets interesting. It shows his money coming in each month, and he put zero all the way down the line. But look at this one. The only money he's getting is from his poor mom who lives with him, which I'll show you in a second. So his family help, he wrote, they give him $1,000 a month.
Dude, imagine your old elderly mother giving you $1,000 a month as a man who calls himself an alpha. Shame on you, dude. Shame on you. I want to make something very clear. Being broke isn't the problem. We're not laughing at him for that specifically. That's not something that we would judge. However, it becomes a problem when you have spent years convincing people that you're a billionaire. When you're flexing on the internet, selling this fake lifestyle, then that's a different story. And I see a lot of people talking about this online saying, oh, he's just going to claim that, he keeps his money in offshore accounts so that the government doesn't know how much money he has. Well, if he is stupid enough to go with that story, then he can get in major trouble, not only for fraud, but I'm sure his ex-wife can sue him. Well, you guys, I was already done filming my video in the middle of cooking dinner, and what do you know? I see that we already have a response from Bendover himself in the form of a 31-second video posted to his YouTube channel titled My Response to John Bravo, where in it, to no one's surprise, he does exactly as I predicted, but of course he keeps it very short and very vague as to not say anything that could potentially get him into more trouble or incriminate himself. Still, nonetheless, very risky move. What an idiot. Take a listen.
Hey, Bravo, you're a nice guy, but I'm not someone that's just going to let you speak to him this way. At the age of 18, I got sued for $51 million. Do you think after that, I would let myself be a target again? I own nothing, but I control every single room I walk into. You're right, I'm broke. I only got the hat. My mom took my car away. Psych.
But that's not all we have, because thanks to one of Saintsaholic's followers, we have a voice note that Bendover posted to his Telegram, where in it, he's acting like he's the victim. And he also states that John Bravo has made a lot of money by hating on King Azoulay, which is very interesting for him to say, because if I remember correctly, the whole reason this even started in the first place was because he was saying that John Bravo was broke. So it's just so funny that, he made all this money when it's convenient for him, but then he's also broke. Just major contradictions. If you want to hear the whole thing, please go to Saintsaholic's page. I'm just going to play a couple seconds of it. Take a listen.
Guys, here's my response video to John Bravo. For you guys that don't know John Bravo, he's been doing everything in his power to assassinate my character for the past 12 months. He's worked very hard and made a lot of money off of promoting hate on King Azoulay. Now, you have to understand that in this world, the higher you're going to rise, the more people are going to try to bring you down. Men have two choices in life. Either they have to bring themselves to the level that you are, which means they have to work on themselves, which is a lot of hard work. And self-development is something that most men don't want to go through, because you got to go into the trenches and it takes a long time. Or the second choice is they bring you down to their level and tell everybody that you don't deserve to be as high as you are, that you deserve to be lower. They do that to every successful man in history. So just know that with your success, there will be a lot of hate that will come.
And guys, by the way, yes, I understand that, people lie on government forms all the time, especially people with high net worth. However, when they lie, typically millionaires will say that they make $1 million a year, $500,000 a year, something like that. They don't lie and say that they're making $4K a month. That's a massive jump for a supposed millionaire or billionaire, especially because there are lawyers involved in these sorts of things. So it really wouldn't be a very good idea to lie. Therefore, whatever he's writing down in these documents, we have to take at face value. We have to believe it. So not only was that exposed, but John also posted these photos of Ben and his brother in these cute little Playboy bunny costumes. This is the gayest shit I've ever seen, you guys. I've told you guys quite a few times that I used to, hang out back in the day at the Playboy Mansion, and these are the exact costumes we used to wear. Very traumatic memories, by the way, but come on. These are Playboy bunny costumes, you guys. What is happening? And it doesn't end there, because Bendover's day just continued to get even worse. Since he's been yapping, ever since he got kicked out of that MMA event, what was it, like a month ago now? And he's still online crying and yapping about it. He's making all of these videos, still talking about the same story, trying to prove to people that he was like invited there and didn't get kicked out. So let's hear what Bendover Azoulay dude, I just die laughing every single time I hear Bendover. Shout out to Saintsaholic for that, because he's the one who came up with that in the first place, and it's just hilarious. But anyways, let's hear what Bendover has to say, and then we're gonna get into the really juicy shit.
So a couple of weeks ago, I was over in Vegas, and an incident happened at a very small organization. They called it the UFC, kicked out King Azoulay. I know it wasn't the UFC. As you guys have seen, I've been to the UFC, and I say hi to Dana. I was also with Dana gambling, so it wasn't the UFC. But it was a small organization that invited me to come out and promote them. While I got there was a gentleman, older guy, with another guy, two bald-headed, egg-looking motherfuckers who I didn't know. But obviously, they knew who I was. So the old guy said some to me. And that's after I was already there, going around, showing the organization and stuff like that. And hi to the owner, people showing me love. And this guy confronted me about some fake news. So what did I do? Step right into his face and wanted to see what he was going to do about it. You know what he did? Like a little fucking go to the security and said that he fears for his life. So to please get me out of there. So when the security came and asked me to leave, said that there's a gentleman, a low life, he said that he feels threatened for his life. I said, okay. I came to support the organization. This is on the verge of shutting down. I am the king, not them. I came to help. So I had a call with the owner after, and this is what he had to say.
I really appreciate your time and coming to the fights. And again, forgive me for that fucking bullshit. Not allowed back. We're going back to the girl that was running the floor before her. Okay.
Beautiful. Said obviously that he's firing the girl who spoke to the security to get me out. And these two egghead looking motherfuckers are not allowed back into the organization, as you heard him speak. And clearly what you guys have seen on the internet isn't that true, because now you know the true story. The little guy didn't do anything except call security. He had the chance. I was right in front of his face. I put my face so close to him. He felt threatened. I would have broken both of their faces right there. But no, we were too many people for that. So just so you guys know the real story, this is exactly what happened.
Okay, before we get into this, if this business was actually struggling and, they needed help, they needed somebody to come and help them promote this thing, why in the hell would they ever get a convicted rapist to come and help them? Why? Like, dude, if they were supposedly struggling that bad and they needed somebody to come in and help elevate their brand, don't you think they would have gotten a well-respected fighter who doesn't have all this baggage, who is actually like a legit fighter that people respect, instead of Bendover Azoulay? But before we go any further and address the rest of the lies, because this entire video is just a diarrhea shit salad full of lies, let's just set the record straight with what happened between Brokeback Ben and the guys he refers to as the bald egghead motherfuckers, because he's acting all hard now in these videos that he's posting to his Instagram. However, when he had the chance and these guys were directly in front of him, these actual legit fighters who have been fighting for many, many, many years, who know everybody in the arena, who do this professionally, right? When he had the chance to prove how big and bad he is, that he can beat 30 guys off at the same time, he wasn't willing to do so. Now that he's on the internet, away from them, out of this situation, he's talking all this shit. But luckily, I have these clips from an interview that Jesse on Fire, shout out to Jesse on Fire, that he did with the fighter who actually called him out across the arena, who was calling him a PDF in front of everyone, yelling it at the top of his lungs. I have an interview of him and Jesse on Fire. His name is King David MMA, and he talks about what happened. And nothing that Ben is saying right now is true about him saying he was so scared. Ooh, get him out of here. I'm scared. None of that happened.
When he and I were interacting with each other, right? I'm in the framework of like, I avoid physical problems, especially me going first, right? Like if he goes first, well, now we're in a situation, right?
Yeah.
But like he's now misrepresenting what happened in the comment section of his stuff. People are screenshotting it and sending to me. And we'll talk about that in a second. But like that dude, he's so unaware of danger that he doesn't know when he's in danger.
Can you tell, like, first of all, send me those screenshots, and what is he saying? Is he acting like he punked you or something?
Well, he's saying he came up on us and that you know, I guess he's talking about me. I pissed my pants and I ran and told security to escort him out because I feel threatened. I didn't leave my seat. So it wasn't me talking to anybody, right? I didn't leave my seat when he approached me. I didn't shake his hand. I didn't feel threatened. Even in the event that I was like, if anything, he's fortunate because I had very, very aggressive, violent people who I'm friends with behind me that didn't even know who he was, that literally wanted to stomp him out for even approaching me.
Dude, even in the event that this guy actually, and this would never happen, but even if this guy actually believed that Brokeback Ben could beat his ass, he has like all these dudes with him. Why would he? This is why the story is absolute hogwash. It makes no sense. It's malarkey. Because even if he thought Ben could kick his ass, he has all these dudes with him that are friends with him, that are willing to just back him up just on the simple fact that they're friends. This is like a brotherhood. They're all tight with each other. As we'll hear in just a second, Ben was there with his fucking cameraman, okay? So he didn't have a bunch of guys to have his back. So even if, this is what I'm saying, like even if this guy believed Ben could possibly kick his ass, he's not gonna be scared and be like, oh my God, I'm so scared for my life. Get this guy out of here. Because he has all these dudes to back him up.
They didn't even know about his case. Just because he walked up on you.
They didn't even know what I was saying. They were like, dude, I heard you cussing at somebody. I saw him walk over. Let's stomp him out. Like no questions asked, bro. And I'm like, oh, I appreciate that. I was like, you know this guy? And they're like, dude, no idea who that is. And I'm like, you don't know that he. And then when I told them what he's on file for, they're like now they wanted it. Well, dude, why didn't you tell me that? I would have jumped over the thing on him, bro. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's skip forward a little bit where he talks about the part where Ben comes up to him. As you just heard Ben say, you know, he went up to him, was like close to his face, getting in his face, whatever. Let's hear what actually happened.
Yeah, so he came up, tried to shake my hand, say that it's fake news or whatever, that he can prove it wasn't him, that he didn't actually do that. And then that's when my boy Doc Ock, who's familiar with the case, because I wasn't familiar with the case. I'm just going off my dear friend and like, hey, man, if you don't like this guy, I don't like this guy. I don't even need to know the details. So that's why I started yelling about you after 15-year-old, because at the time, that's all I knew was that my friend told me he did that. I didn't know that it was forcible and that there were drugs and there was 3 dudes or whatever. Like, I didn't know any of that. So I'm just like, I'm going to put my voice to my friend's like issue, right? Because I'm loud and I'm comfortable with confrontation and I'm comfortable in front of a crowd. So I'm like, that's my superpower. Let me represent for my friend. So that's what I was doing. And then he came over and then Dr. Octagon is the one that's like, no, that was you. That was you. So.
Okay, so there you have it. Does it sound like this guy was all scared, trying to get him kicked out, thinking his life was in danger? Or does it sound like Ben is the one who went up to him, trying to shake his hand, trying to act like he's all cool, trying to be like, oh my God, dude, like this isn't true. This is fake news. I believe that story. Okay, so before we get into the best part of Bendover's day, I just want to shout out Saintsaholic because I'm getting all of these clips from his video. He put out the most banger video. So shout out to him and shout out to the stage manager, Ingrid, who was the one one working at the MMA event that night who got Bendover kicked out. I just love her so much. She is such a badass woman, not only for kicking his ass out of there, but also because she has the balls to speak out about this and set the record straight. But you know who isn't happy about this is Bendover himself, because little broke back bitch Ben Azoulay was having a fit after he got his ass kicked out by a woman. I'll keep saying that because I just love that little tidbit. But he was so upset and humiliated that he not only tried to get Ingrid fired from her job, but also ruin her reputation and call her a liar. Because what we found out from Saintsaholic's video is that after this night, the MMA night, he was so humiliated that he decided to get a hold of the owner and try to get her fired, but he recorded the entire phone call and posted it on the internet to try to clear his name, I guess. But get this, he didn't post it, in its entirety to try to be transparent. He posted it heavily edited. Okay, no surprise. So that he could misrepresent, like he always does, what was actually said. But what Bendover didn't realize is that Ingrid had already known about this phone call this entire time. He didn't get away with it because she knew about this. She knew that this was complete bullshit, and she knew that he edited it. Edited it. Dude, what is wrong with you, Karen Azoulay? That is exactly what he is. Karen Azoulay. Let me speak with your manager. Let me speak with your owner and try to get you fired. What is wrong with you? This is like the most non-alpha shit I've ever heard. So when Ingrid, she was commenting, trying to tell people what actually happened, Ben was hiding these comments, which is hilarious because I have these comments here. And again, thank you to Saintsaholic because he did some great work getting to the bottom of this situation. So let me read these to you. So Ingrid commented on Ben's video saying, "You were kicked out because you are a convicted rapist and a pedo. You were not invited by our event. You begged a promoter to give you VIP tickets who also didn't know who you were. For the most interesting man in the world, nobody knows who the fuck you are." I just love her. I love her. "Once we learned who you were, because thank you to Fight Circus and King David, we quickly took action and you were escorted out and saved your life. So kindly shut the fuck up and learn your place as the troglodyte maggot that you are. Nobody wants you around. You are a lying, sick, demented human being who cannot see his son. Your wife left you and not even Clavicular wants you. That says a lot." Dude, she fucking roasted his ass. So I guess, Azoulay was saying that he got her fired or that she was fired or something because she commented back. And again, he hid these comments saying, "Who got fired? LMAO. I'm right here, King Azoulay. Who got fired? Why are you lying yet again? Stop fucking lying and pretending like you did anything or were about to do anything. You were never invited and we had no idea who you were. Jeff never said that at all. LMAO. Continue to edit to your convenience. Fired where? I'm still right here and will be, unlike you." So anyways, dude, yeah, she was trying to set the record straight and he has been hiding her comments. But now let's get to the best part, because this is the icing on the shit cake. Because Saintsaholic, in genius fashion, I mean, this was such a good idea and such a great video. Like I said, I'm gonna have it linked in the description. But he had the brilliant idea of getting Ingrid to send him over a video explaining step by step what happened that night so that there was no misunderstanding, so that Ben Azoulay couldn't worm his way out of anything. And guys, just wait until you hear this.
Hello, my name is Ingrid Suarez, and I am the stage manager for the now infamous UFC 153, where Ben Azoulay showed up unannounced and unbeknownst to me and everybody who was in the arena apparently did not know he was going to show up, but then ultimately got ejected and hopefully banned from not just our event, but every other MMA event imaginable, any fighting event for that matter. My job as a stage manager is to make sure the floor and the show is kept safe and smoothly going in a very good flow. And that's how we were doing. This show was going so smoothly until Mr. Ben Azoulay decided to show up with his camera crew, because it was just one guy with a camera crew, and decided, he was just going to strut in like he was Mr. Big Shot, and he was shot down many, many times by many of the people in the arena. I did not know who this person was, and I am on the internet constantly. I've been on social media for many, many years, and I never knew or heard of this man. So when I am standing there, because my job is once the fighters get into the cage, I stand there to make sure it goes smoothly. I make sure the host is okay. I make sure everybody is okay. And that the fight, by the time the fight ends, I have to run back to the dressing room. So as the fight was about to start, here comes Ben Azoulay walking towards my left. If you see the video, you see me. And I hear King David and Fighter Circus shouting, "Didn't you?" A 15-year-old.
She didn't know Ben Azoulay, the most famous pedophile on the internet. How could you not know Ben Azoulay? The most famous PDF. Come on. Also, just absolutely hilarious that he was making all these videos acting like he was this big shot, showing up there with like a crew of people. And she just said it was one guy. One guy holding a camera. I cannot. And like she said, there was a bunch of men there that did not, like, they didn't know who he was, but all they had to hear was that one man, King David MMA, and I think it was Fighter Circus, something like that. There were two men total, the two men that Ben hates. But all it took was for those two guys to start shouting that this guy was a PDF, and all of those people, all of those men, those real men, were ready to beat Ben's ass.
And in my I had my meta glasses on, and I switched them on.
Good.
And that's when you see some footage of me saying, "Who F a 15-year-old?" Because I'm taken aback. I'm completely in shock that this accusation is being made. Again, I did not know who he was. No, a lot of people do not know who he was or who he is. And, you know, for someone who says that he really is famous, honestly, I know a lot of famous people, and I don't know who the fuck he is.
Oop.
So
Oop.
I start hearing these accusations, and if there's video footage of me from John Bravo, where you see me just going back and forth, debating what the hell is going on. Like, is this a real accusation? Because it is a hell of an accusation, you know? And again, I don't know who this person is. So I approach Fighter Circus immediately, and I say, "What is going on?" And he and I had an interaction, constant interaction, where he told me what was going on. He showed me the proof of a 15-year-old minor girl with his brother and his friend. And I basically had to sit there and make a decision that was for the best of the whole arena. Mind you, it wasn't just, it sat so badly in my soul that I kind of waited too long, because as a professional and as a stage manager, I have to be smart about the decisions that I make, because it affects the organization. It affects everybody within the organization and within the arena. So when I made that decision, it was because ultimately I did confirm, and the fighters that were in the VIP area, in the cage, were all about to just jump over everything to get him and absolutely destroy him. Now, mind you, this is a family-friendly event. So there are children who are 5, 6, 7 years old in this event who could have gotten injured had anything broken out. Now, within all the fighters' rights, because honestly, I felt like I took a little too long, but they're saying that I didn't, that I did exactly what I needed to do. And I really appreciate the fighters that have had my back this whole time and have defended and so completely supported my decision.
So yeah, so this entire decision, like, it's all on her. It's all on her shoulder. So she has to make this decision that could not only impact the organization, but it could fall back on her. So she has to think of these things in like a split second, right? So I think she made the right decision. Absolutely, obviously. I mean, nobody, like, not only did she save Ben's life, but she saved a lot of the other guys. They could have ended up with charges if they would have hurt him in any way. We all know Ben would have went straight to the cops, but like, you can't really be having all of this stuff go down at a family friendly event where there's children, there's probably elderly people, there's all kinds of women, there's all kinds of people there. So her job is to keep the safety, and that's what stupid ass Ben doesn't understand. He should be thanking her. But as we just heard King David say earlier, he's so dumb and he's so unaware of any sort of danger. He's never been in real danger before, okay? Let's be real. So he's so unaware of his surroundings, he doesn't even know when he's in danger.
So at one point, security continues to come up to me. What do we do? What do we do? Who is this guy? And I'm like, okay, hold on. That's when I go, that's it. When I start seeing the escalation of everything that was going on, I decided that's it. He's got to go. So I walked towards where he was, and I pointed him out to security guard, and I said, that's him. He needs to go. And that's when security went ahead and started escorting him out. And while he did the walk of shame, and ultimately got into an Uber, they made sure he got into an Uber and left the premises. They're saying I saved his life, but I think I saved a lot of people's lives that night. I did my job the best I felt possible and the best I could to make sure the show kept running smoothly. The fights finally ended. We had a new champion, and everybody was happy. So I will continue to do this as a stage manager. I will continue to keep the public safe, because at the end of the day, it may be my floor, but it's everyone's cage. And that is everyone's fight. And this is what we're doing. We're fighting for the right to have these people publicly shamed and never show their faces again, because it is absolutely despicable and disgusting, the atrocities that they do to children, to women, to everybody, to men. So I hope this finally explains my position and my perspective, and it shines a new light on everything, even though I really don't need to, because everybody else that I mentioned in the beginning of this video have done amazingly and continue to do amazing work in shining a light in such a positive light. I'm really appreciative. I thank you so much. I hope this continues and that the public shaming continues. If they're not going to release the list, we're going to start releasing the names ourselves and publicly shaming them. Thank you so much. Much love.
Dude, this guy is such a fucking Karen. Like we just heard, she saved his life. Whether he believes it or not, whether he's too much of an idiot to realize how much danger he was actually in, regardless of anything he believes, she literally saved his life. Those men were ready in 2 seconds. All they needed is like 1 more minute, and those men would have been all over him, dude. He would have gotten destroyed that night, okay? And so instead of thanking her, for saving my life and not letting me get my ass beat and making sure that I was escorted out safely, No, he decided to try to get her in trouble and ultimately get her fired. What? And I'm so glad the owner didn't listen to him. If the owner would have listened to Azoulay, this would have been a terrible look. He is so smart for not listening to Ben Azoulay. Like, thank God it all worked out and she didn't get in any trouble, because if she had, people would have been pissed. People are not going for this anymore, especially today in 2026. We're so tired of these PDFs being protected. We're so tired of people taking their sides and not standing with the people who are doing the right thing. It's not like she was putting him on blast. She handled this very professionally. It's not like she was like yelling out to everybody like, oh my God, PDF. No, she got him out safely. She prevented this place from turning into a freaking bloodbath in front of children. Why would she be in trouble for keeping the place safe? Anyways, guys, let this be a cautionary tale, because all of this, I'm telling you, all of this could have been avoided if Ben Azoulay would have kept his mouth shut. All he had to do was stop running his mouth, stop posting about this story over and over again and getting Saintsaholic's attention, because that's ultimately what got Saintsaholic to reach out to Ingrid. Like, who does that? Who is online still talking about the same event over a month later? It's been over a month and he's still talking about the same event. But that's the reality, and he brought this all on himself. If he had just known when to shut the fuck up, he wouldn't be in any of this mess to begin with. But it seems like that is a problem that all of these alphas have. They never know when to shut the fuck up, just like Wes Watson won't stop yapping. And in fact, that is what got Ben Azoulay in this mess to begin with months ago. Long ago, the reason why he even got looked into in the first place is because he wouldn't shut up about how he went to prison. And then when he got exposed, he just kept yapping and dug himself an even bigger hole. So guys, there's a lesson here. Please learn from this. Don't make the same mistake as him. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is zip your lips. And when everyone is telling you to shut the fuck up, it might be a good idea to listen. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it. I'm going to have everyone linked in the description. Everyone who participated in Ben's worst day ever. This was just so hilarious. Like I said, this was happening one after another, like within a couple hours from one another. John dropped his video, and then immediately afterwards, Saintsaholic dropped this video, and I was just like, oh my God, he's got to be shitting himself today. But thank you guys so much. Please check out all the other channels and like this video, and I'll see you next time. Take care.